One of the worst aviation disasters in Indian history occurred on June 12, 2025, when Air India Flight AI171 en route from Ahmedabad to London Gatwick crashed into a residential area just 30 seconds after takeoff. The tragic accident claimed the lives of 241 people on board and at least 33 people on the ground. There were 242 people on board the aircraft, consisting of two pilots and 10 cabin crew, said the senior DGCA official. Incredibly, one man, a British national, miraculously survived. The Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, operating as Flight AI171, had just departed from Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport at 1:39 p.m. local time when it failed to gain altitude and crashed just 1.5 kilometers or zero point 0.9 miles from the end of the runway. Mayday, Mayday was the final radio message sent by the pilot of Air India Flight 171 moments before it crashed, killing more than 270 people. In a briefing held by India's aviation authorities, officials confirmed that Captain Sumit Savarwal, who was piloting the flight, sent a distress call to air traffic control less than a minute after takeoff from Ahmedabad Airport at 1:39 p.m. When air traffic control responded to the emergency call, there was no response, said Samir Kumar Sinha, a secretary in India's aviation ministry. He added that the plane went down just seconds later. An Air India plane crashed into a building used to house Doctors Medical College and Civil Hospital in Ahmedabad. It happened during lunchtime when many students and medical staff were eating in the hostel's dining hall. Parts of the plane tore through the roof, causing major damage. A photo taken after the crash showed empty tables with food still on them. At the far end of the hall, people were seen standing near a huge hole in the wall where the plane had hit. One woman at the scene said her son had to jump from the second floor of the building, escaped, and was injured in the fall. Dr. Meenakshi Parekh, the dean of the medical college and the hospital, told the BBC News that at least 4 students and 4 relatives of doctors died in the crash. Eyewitnesses said they heard a loud roar followed by a big explosion as the plane came down, leaving behind thick black smoke and the thrill of destruction. The blast was heard across central Ahmedabad. Emergency services rushed to the scene to rescue people trapped in the debris. Against all odds, one man survived. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, a 40-year-old British national seated in 11A, recounted his experience from his hospital bed. "I still cannot believe I made it out alive," he told India's DD News. "There was a loud bang and then chaos. I fastened my seatbelt and saw that the side of the plane I was on hadn't completely collapsed." Ramesh said he noticed a gap near the fuselage and crawled out. "There was smoke everywhere. I just started running. I don't remember much after that." As families began arriving at hospitals and the airport to search for loved ones, stories of heartbreak and loss emerged. The following is a partial list of the victims who were identified as being aboard AI171. Hardikavaya and Bihati Patel. A couple went to India to celebrate their engagement, have been named among the victims. There and Here Baxi. Sisters There and Here Baxi, both in their early 20s, were returning home to London on the flight, having visited India to surprise their grandmother for her birthday. Fiongal and Jamie Grainlomek. British couple running a business center in London posted before boarding. The Joshi family. Dr. Pratik Joshi had been living in London for 6 years, working toward a better future for his wife, Dr. Kami Vyas, and their 3 young children, who remained in India. After years of effort and preparation, the family was finally reuniting to start a new life together in the UK. Just 2 days earlier, Dr. Vyas resigned from her job, and the family packed their bags and said their goodbyes. Filled with hope and excitement, they boarded Air India Flight 171 to their one-way journey toward a new beginning. They even sent a groovy to relatives before takeoff. Mohammed Adnan Master. Mohammed Adnan, his wife and 8-month-old son had come to Ahmedabad from the UK to celebrate Eid with their family. Raksa Muda and her 2-year-old grandson Ruda Muda. A woman and her grandson also on board the plane. Raksa Muda and her 2-year-old grandson Ruda were believed to have been flying back to England for a memorial service for Muda's late husband, Kishore, who had died in April from cancer. Pananagar. Respected former teacher and Ofsted inspector, Pananagar was widely admired for her dedication to education and her lasting impact on schools and communities. She is fondly remembered for her leadership, integrity, and commitment to raising standards and inspiring generations of students and educators alike. Ranjita Gopakumara Nair. Ranjita Gopakumara Nair was a nurse who had just resigned from her job at Portsmouth Queen Alexandra Hospital. She was finishing a permanent move back home to India to be with her children and elderly mother, and had traveled out there to submit documents for a nursing post in Kerala. Her family said she had even set a date for a housewarming party at her newly built home in the city. She had a 12-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old son. The Nanavawa family. A beloved British family of 3 who died in the Air India crash have been laid to rest in a joint funeral. Akhil Nanabawa, Hana Varaji, and their 4-year-old daughter Sarah were returning to Gloucester when the plane crashed in Ahmedabad. Relatives thanked the community for its support and said they are now reflecting on their lost and cherished memories. Ashok and Shobana Patel. Ashok Patel, a financial advisor, and Shobana Patel, a retired microbiologist, were living in Orpington, Kent. Couple from Kent returning home to their children and grandchildren. Mansha Manesh Patel, 79, was in Ahmedabad doing charity work when she died in the Air India crash. Her son Cherag told Sky News she was sitting just one row behind the sole survivor, remembered as a strong woman who had deeply loved her family. She had packed lollipops and special crepes for her grandchildren before her planned return to London. A.J. Kumar Ramesh was on the flight with his brother, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, the sole British survivor. Sadly, AJ did not survive the crash. Vijay Rapuni, Vijay Rapuni, the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, India, was killed in the crash. According to the country's civil aviation minister, Rapuni served as Chief Minister of the Western Indian state from 2016 to 2021 and was the member of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP). Kitan Shah, Kitan Shah, 43, a father of two from Dorset, was among the passengers on the crashed flight. He ran a village store in Shipton, Bellinger, and was visiting India to see his ill father. Sing Son, a cabin crew member, was the sole breadwinner for the family. Her mother and brother were wholly dependent on her. The Shed family. Javed Shed and his wife Mariam from West London were on the flight with their two young children, Zen and Amani, returning from a holiday in India. Mrs. Shed worked at Harrods, while Mr. Shed was employed at a West London hotel. Takeoff is one of the riskiest parts of flying, especially when the plane is carrying a lot of fuel. Flight AI171 had nearly 100 tons of fuel when it took off from Ahmedabad. The exact cause of crash is still being investigated, but experts are considering a few possibilities. Engine failure. A loud bang and sudden drop in altitude, maybe both engines failed. Flap problems. The flaps on the wings help the plane lift off. If they didn't work properly, it could have caused the crash. Bird strike or bad fuel. Hitting birds or using contaminated fuel might also be factors. Teams from the US, UK, and Boeing are helping Indian authorities investigate. This is the first deadly crash involving a Boeing 787 Dreamliner since the aircraft was introduced in 2011. This particular plane had flown over 700 times in the past year. Boeing said, "We're in contact with Air India and ready to help. Our thoughts are with everyone affected." India's Aviation Authority (DGCA) has ordered immediate safety checks on all Air India Dreamliners. From June 15, every 7-8 flight must pass takeoff and engine performance tests before flying. DGCA head Aaron Kumar said, "We are taking this very seriously. We won't stop until we know exactly what went wrong and how to prevent it from happening again." Air India's parent company, Tata Group, is giving 1 crore, about £86,000, to each victim's family. Air India's CEO Campbell Wilson said with emotion, "Words can't replace what's been lost, but we'll work tirelessly to find answers." The crash is heartbreaking, reminder of how quickly a routine flight can turn into a tragedy. As India mourns, families and the public are demanding clear answers and accountability. A grieving relative summed it up, "We owe it to every person on that plane to know the truth." If this story moved you, share it so the lives lost are never forgotten and the lessons never ignored. Like and subscribe for more stories that matter. To all affected, our hearts are with you.